conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way, yeah, to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me just so you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, man. In the meantime, right on, right on, right on. Yeah. Father, Father, everybody thinks we're wrong. Oh, but who are you to judge us? Just because our hair is long. You know we've got to find a way, yeah, to bring some love in here today. Oh, picket lines and picket signs. Don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me just so you can see what's going on. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, 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 yeah. Everything gonna be alright. Yeah. We gotta figure out what's going on. Yeah. What's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our Black History Moment here at Grove Church. Before we even start, I want to say Happy Black History Month, although we know that every month is filled with Black history. Tonight, we want to celebrate our past, present, and future. We will reflect on the great achievements and accomplishments that our ancestors have made. We will learn our history. So gather your family, gather your friends, and turn that volume button up. Let's take this journey together. First stop, let's stop to see Brother Josiah Henson.
Let me tell you a story that you probably never heard before. You know, some folk actually say this story isn't true, but he made it a point to make sure his story was heard, and he was proud. His name was Josiah Henson, and he was born June 15th, 1789, in Charles County, Maryland. He was born a slave. As a child, he was sold to Isaac Riley, who later appointed him superintendent of the farm. It was really rare, but he always stood out from the rest, you know. He was the best Riley ever had. He was always strong and smart. With those two traits, boy, he was unstoppable. He was loyal for years and had been planning that one day he was gonna be free. So he talked to Master Riley and they discussed buying his freedom. Yeah, he was gonna be free. But that low-down, dirty, rotten scoundrel tricked him and ended up selling him down south instead. Now listen, he had a wife and a family. He wasn't going to chance losing them, so they fled north the summer of 1830. They passed through Ohio and New York, settled in Dresden, Ontario, Canada. There he became a preacher and a leader in the Afro-Canadian community. There in Canada, he helped to establish a place for refugees from slavery to be educated, employed, and learn vocational skills. One day, he decided that if he could be free himself, shoot, why not help others? Now, I know you heard about that bad woman. She was strong. Ooh-wee. She ain't have no fear in her heart. Yeah, I'm talking about the great Harriet Tubman. Yep, she freed slaves, but so did he. Yes, he too was a conductor for the Underground Railroad. He traveled back into the United States to help other slaves escape. Yep, he sure did. Then he took it a step further. He learned how to read and write. Ooh, it was nothing stopping him now. He decided to tell his story and then his autobiography, The Life of Josiah Henson, formerly a slave, now an inhabitant of Canada, was narrated. And it was the first published in 1849. And you know what? That Harriet Beecher Stowe made a whole lot of money from her book based on his life. You know the one I'm talking about, Uncle Tom's Cabin. Yeah, that was him. She wrote that book after she read his book. Yes, Josiah Henson was the man. Even dignitaries sought after him. President Rutherford B. Hayes entertained him at the White House, and Queen Victoria invited him to Windsor Castle in England. Did you know that he won a medal at the first World's Fair in London for his high-quality lumber? Wow, what a wonderful man. I hate to be the man to say that I told you, but I told you. That's history. Black history. Our history.
Wow, indeed. What an amazing man. If you haven't had a chance to read his story thoroughly, I charge you to do so. Let's continue to learn our history. Next stop, let's head to Kentucky, Montgomery County to be exact. Y'all smell that?
Hey, I's in town, honey. It's me, Nancy Green, better known as Aunt Jemima. Yes, I was born a slave in Montgomery County, Kentucky in 1834. I've been a nanny, a cook, a housekeeper, a missionary, and an activist. But Aunt Jemima, that's who I'm known for best. Well, how did I become Aunt Jemima? Some say the owners of the Davis Milling Company needed a model to help sell their brand. So the family I worked for suggested me. Others say that when the owners found out that I used their product, their pancake flour, to make my deliciously famous flapjacks, they came after me to help them sell their product. Yes, you got it. If it wasn't for me, it wouldn't have been. They were having such a hard time selling their pancake flour until I became their first model. And where did they get that name from? An old minstrel song called Old Aunt Jemima. So where did it all start? It was back in 1893 at the World Exposition in Chicago. That's where I brought Aunt Jemima to life. I would be at the fair, cooking up my pancakes, singing old songs and telling stories. And the people loved it so much that on the first night, the company took 50,000 orders. Yes, I was a hit, they said. So much so that the company gave me a lifetime contract to be their Aunt Jemima. I traveled all over the country doing promotional shows. That fame helped me in my missionary work at the Olivet Baptist Church. You know, Olivet was the oldest African-American church in Chicago. There, I helped to fight against poverty, and I helped fight for the rights of people in Chicago. And now, after making a fortune off the sweat from my brow and all of the Aunt Jemimas that came after me, the company is changing the name. Aunt Jemima pancake mix and syrup is gone. Sad, I tell you. Just sad.
Wee! I love me some pancakes. Ain't nothing like eating some good home cooking. You know what I'm talking about? Cooking with that motherly love. I'm sorry. I know. Let's get back on track. But don't act like you don't like some of the fresh pancakes now. Next stop. Am I hearing things? Or did I just hear the ice cream truck?
Scott Joplin's reputation as a composer rests on his classic rags for piano, including Maple Leaf Rag and The Entertainer, published in 1899 through 1909, and his opera Tremonisha, published at his own expense in 1911. It was named after the Maple Leaf Club. Although the club's date is uncertain, it was no later than November 24, 1898, when the first Maple Leaf Ball was held. Tremonisha was well received when produced by an Atlanta, Georgia troupe on Broadway in 1972. Joplin and Ragtime's interest was stimulated in the 1970s by using his music in the award-winning Academy score to the film called The Sting. Joplin set the standard for ragtime compositions and played a vital role in the development of ragtime music. And as a pioneer composer and performer, he helped pave the way for young Black artists to reach American audiences of all races. After his death, jazz historian Floyd Levin noted, "Those few who realized his greatness bowed their heads in sorrow. This was the passing of the king of all ragtime writers, the man who gave America a piece of genuine native music."
Since we're talking about music, let's just walk on down the Hall of Fame, shall we?
You know, we have been known for so many things, and music has always been in our culture. Rhythm, melodies, harmonies. Nowadays, when people mention rock and roll, they never pay homage to the greats who have had a great influence in this. People like Little Richard, Rosetta Tharpe, Jimi Hendrix, Willie Mae Thornton, better known as Big Mama Thornton, just to name a few. But my favorite is one of the founding fathers of rock and roll, known for the famous duck rock, Mr. Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry was a songwriter and guitarist, and one of the pioneers of rock and roll music. Nicknamed the father of rock and roll, Charles Edward Anderson Berry was born on October 18, 1926 in St. Louis, Missouri. Berry was among the first musicians to be included into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on its opening in 1986. He was cited for having laid the groundwork for not only a rock and roll sound, but a rock and roll stance. Berry is included in several of Rolling Stone's magazine's greatest of all time lists. He was ranked 5th on its 2004 and 2011 list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll includes 3 of Berry's: Johnny B. Good, Maybelline, and Rock and Roll Music. Berry's Johnny B. Good is the only rock and roll song included on the Voyager Golden Record. Check this out.
Gone like a cool.
continued to play 70 to 100 one-nighters per year in the 1980s, still traveling solo and requiring a local band to back him at each stop. Barry announced on his 90th birthday that his first new studio album since Rocket in 1979, entitled Chuck, would be released in 2017. His first new record in 38 years, it includes his children, Charles Berry Jr. and Ingrid, on guitar and harmonica, with songs covering the spectrum from hard-driven rockers to soulful, thought-provoking time capsules of a life's work, and dedicated to his beloved wife of 68 years, Toddy, a pioneer of rock and roll. Barry was a significant influence on the development of both the music and the attitude associated with the rock music lifestyle. His music continues to inspire young and old musicians. His legacy will always live on.
Them that's got shall have, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible said, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Yes, the strong get smart, while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make the grave. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Oh, money, you got lots of friends. They're crowding around the door. But when you're gone and spending ends, they don't come no more. Ooh, rich relations give crust bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. Ooh, that's got his own. rich relations give crust, bread, and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Yeah. That's got his own. That's got his own.
What you just heard was a famous piece entitled God Bless the Child, written by Arthur Herzog and Billie Holiday. Truly, we have come a mighty long way. The labor, the hurt, the tears, the sweat, but most importantly, the triumphs. With God's grace and mercy, He has given us the strength to persevere. Next stop, St. Louis, Missouri.
Her words, her wisdom have guided the hearts of us all for years with poems like Still I Rise and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, or Phenomenal Woman, to name a few. But did you know that at the age of 8, Marguerite Johnson, better known as Maya Angelou, silenced herself for 5 years? She believed that she killed her mom's boyfriend by telling her father that he raped her. So she decided not to talk again. It took a toll on her, a 5-year toll. Although Angelou was close to her family, Bertha Flowers, a local teacher, helped her regain her voice. It was through Flowers that Maya developed her love of poetry. Miss Flowers left a profound impression on young Maya, charmed by the teacher's style and unusual refined grace. As years went by, Maya Angelou became a singer, dancer, actress, author, and civil rights activist. Yes, Maya Angelou was a calypso singer. In 1957, she released the album Miss Calypso. Maya performed in clubs in the San Francisco area under her birth name, Marguerite Johnson, and sometimes under the name Rita. She won 3 Grammys for Best Spoken Word albums and was nominated for a Tony Award in 1973. By the age of 16, she was the first African American and the first female streetcar conductor in San Francisco. She was the second poet in history to recite work at a presidential inauguration. Maya Angelou's legacy continues to impact us all from day to day, helping us to remember it is not harmful to speak the truth, but is indeed detrimental to suppress it. Use your words. Let your voice live.
When it looked like the sun wasn't gonna shine anymore, God put a rainbow in the clouds. Imagine.
Well, family, we have come to the last stop in this moment, but never in the last stop in our journey. Now, it would not behoove us to talk about our history and not mention those in our local area here in the 757 who are making history. Some names like Costella Williams, Angelia Williams-Graves, Michael Massey, Michael Moore, Cardell Patillo Jr., Carl W. Haywood, to name a few. And last but certainly not least, our very own, our shepherd here at Grove Church, Dr. Melvin O. Mariner. For we know that history continues to grow daily. Let's not take for granted the foundation that has been planted, rooted, and grounded for us. Let's honor the past, embrace our present, and continue to build our future. This is our Black History Moment.